Now, in the last lecture, we have seen that IDE is not at all a good tool for automation. It's only for record and play. There are no companies who are working on Selenium IDE. Rather, companies are focusing only and only on the coding part, because if in case you want to achieve all these things, there has to be some programming way only, right? So all these are Java utilities. Since we are working on Selenium with Java, we'll be using all these things through some Java APIs only, right? So then the next part came into the market was RC. RC, like we call it as a remote control. This was the very first Java project. If I'm saying it as Java project, then they have actually created one of the major class called as default Selenium. And inside this class they have created couple of methods which you can call and you can automate a website. Method like a method called as start. They have designed a method start. If you call this, it will gonna launch a browser. Similarly, after launching a browser, they have created a method open. You provide the URL over here, which accepts like string URL. If you provide URL, call this method open, provide URL http way to automation.com, it will navigate to the website. After navigating to the website, you want to get the title of the page. The method they have created is get title. Same way, one by one, they have created a huge collection of library and stored all the functionalities inside one single class called as default Selenium. Now, in order to automate things using default Selenium, since it's a Java class, we just need to create an object of a class by saying default Selenium equal to new default Selenium, something like this. And when you say Selenium dot start, if you write this much code and run it, it will actually going to launch a browser. After launching a browser, you want to navigate to a website, you call a method selenium.open and you provide the argument something like http google.com and it will navigate to google.com. Then you want to get the title selenium.get title. You want to perform click selenium.click. You want to perform type, the method is selenium.type. So one by one, we keep on calling these methods and we automate our website. But this is just a Java, plain core Java methods. How these things are interacting with our browser, right? How, if I say click, how it is performing click on a link or a button or a radio button. How this type is typing in some input box on my website. So what is the mode of communication? How this class is communicating with my browser. So that is what is written in the architecture of Selenium RC. So Selenium RC, it injects JavaScript on the browser. JavaScript as in, if you are familiar of JavaScript, I'm not talking about the entire language, the programming language, I'm talking about JavaScript is something that gets executed on the front end. Any action that you want to perform on a UI, you can achieve that action using JavaScript as well. And you need not to use Selenium in order to perform that action. Let's say if I want to perform click on this link, I can easily do it using JavaScript. If I am a JavaScript developer, I can do any action on this page, click, type, change the font, capture screenshot, and number of things are available in JavaScript as well. There is no need to use Selenium for it. But the syntax of JavaScript is little bit complex. So if I talk about, let's say, for clicking, the JavaScript goes something like this: document dot get element by id dot click, something like this. This is what JavaScript is. Now what they have done, whichever click method that they have created, they have wrapped this code inside the click method. So as a tester, as an end user of Selenium, you need not to worry about what is written inside click method. This is for the developer who has actually created it. As a user, you'll just be calling this and it will perform the same task. That is how all the methods in Selenium RC, they work in the same way. It injects JavaScript, right? So as a tester, we would be knowing only basic Java in order to work on Selenium. How we can just call methods from a class. The class is already designed, the class is already developed, the methods are already developed, the functionality is already developed. You just need to know basic core Java concepts in order to call the methods, the developed methods, and you need to automate your website. At the back end, these methods are injecting JavaScript on your browser. And in order to support this JavaScript, there is something called as Selenium RC server that you need to start. This is basically the JavaScript engine. Till the time you won't start this standalone server, Selenium RC standalone server, your code will not be executed. You'll not be able to execute this code. This was a prerequisite in RC. Servers were something like this. So wherever we have the jar file, this is our server as well. Right, so how to start it? Just go to command prompt, type java hyphen jar and give the name of any jar file. Like this, press enter. See, launching a standalone server. Start it on your local host, some port 4444. Till the time this server is not up and running, this code will not work. You'll not be able to execute anything on web. Because this server will help in injecting JavaScript. Right, so this is how the architecture of RC was designed. So later on, when RC was launched in the market, companies have started using RC, right? There were a lot of frameworks designed using RC as well. But at some point of time, they started facing challenges using RC. Now, what was that challenge? The architecture itself was the major challenge. How? Because see, we know that RC came long back in the market. It was started in 2004. And at that point of time, the majorly used browser was IE. Right? Till now, there are many old client applications which are accessed through IE browser, which might not work on Chrome, might not work on Firefox. They works absolutely fine on IE. Now, when you execute Selenium RC code on IE, Selenium RC injects JavaScript on this IE browser. And if you have ever noticed on this status bar over here, at the bottom, you may see something like a yellow triangle over here. Something like, if I take you to images, Java, sorry, IE status are yellow triangle warning. Something like this yellow triangle, but it shows up on status bar. It's not showing up over here, but that's fine. This is what I was referring to. It shows up at the status bar. Now, what this yellow triangle is? This is basically a JavaScript warning. And you'll not see this warning showing up on Chrome or Firefox. You're only going to see this on IE. Why? Because IE is a highly secured browser. IE does not allow any third-party JavaScript to be injected onto its browser. So when you run Selenium RC code on IE, you get a big blocker saying script cannot be executed further, because IE blocks that JavaScript injection. On the other end, Selenium RC, it injects JavaScript. So it means that whenever we are working on IE, we cannot use Selenium RC. And initially, major projects were automated using IE only. Major projects were handled using IE browser itself. But how this is, they have got a multi-browser support as well. You've just seen Selenium supports multiple browsers, IE as a browser as well. So the support was like, there was a workaround. If you go to settings, internet options, security, and remove all these enable protected modes, then you are good to execute things on IE. It means you are removing the entire security from IE. You should be able to inject JavaScript on IE. Right? JavaScript, as in, if I talk about JavaScript, JavaScript executes at the client end. So why JavaScript is not secured? Because at times a developer, if I'm a JavaScript developer, I can write such code which can fetch stored information from your browser as well. Your stored username, password. At times JavaScript is used for hacking purpose as well. So that is the reason IE blocks it. But if you enable to execute JavaScript on IE, and let's say I have enabled it, but my website was a secured website, HTTPS. It has got some SSL certificates. If I remove the JavaScript and like remove the security from my browser, I'll start getting these warnings. The site security certificate is not trusted. The connection is not trusted. So ultimately, if my website will not launch, what will I automate? So this was one of the major challenge. The architecture itself was a major challenge. Not only this, not only the architecture, this class, this library was another big challenge. How? If I show you this class on Selenium HQ, if you want to see this class, go to download. Over here, you'll find a Java document. So you can see a huge collection of classes. Now, all these are not related to Selenium RC. Right? At time of RC, there was very few classes. One of the major class was this default Selenium class created by thoughtworks.com. Right? If you go down, you'll see a method summary. You can see all methods are showing is deprecated. Right? This is the entire method summary. This is the first method. If you go down, you'll find straightforward method, attaching a file, capturing a screenshot, clicking on a link button, radio button. So you can call any of these methods and you can perform that particular action on the page. Double click, drag and drop, right? It's a huge library. How many methods are there? The last method in this class is window maximize. So this is one single class only. And all the methods are wrapped into one single class. So how many methods are there? Could be 100, could be 200, not more than that. It means my functionality, my automation is limited to these 200 methods. It means if a method is there, I can automate that functionality. If a method is not there, I cannot automate it. Right? When we write test cases, we do a lot of permutation and combination. And it doesn't mean that for every permutation and combination, you'll find a method over here. If I compare this library, I can compare with a tool, with an automation tool, could be QTP, UFT. Right? UFT is a tool. A tool has got a boundary. This library has got a boundary. This library has got 100 methods only. A tool is a huge tool. QTP is a huge tool. Maybe QTP may have 500 methods. But again, there is a limitation. If a method is there, you can automate that thing. If a method is not there, you cannot automate that test case. At times, the methods are not there. At times, the functionality is not there in QTP as well. Then we go to HP, we ask for add-ons. They sell their add-ons as well. So same is the case with this default Selenium class. If a method is not there, are we going to create it? We as a tester, we are using Selenium for automating our website. We are not developing Selenium. Let's say there was one of the scenario I got where one of my test case was to print the text of all the links from this web page. Right? I want to find the text of all the links and even the count of all the links. So anything that you want to get from the page, the method start from get. If you want to get text, there's a method called as getText. What it does, it gets the text of an element. Of an element means one single element. Element means anything that you see on the page is an element. Be it a dot, be it this scrollable, be it link, be it text. Anything on a web is an element. An element on a web is called as a web element. So getText will give you text of one single element. Now we don't want it for one single element. We want it from all links. Not from all the elements, just from the link elements. So this is not the method that you can use. You need to search for another method. If I go up, let's see, do we have any such method? See, I got a method called as get all links. What it returns? Returns the IDs of all the links on the page. And what we are looking for? We are looking for text. Now there is no as such method in this library that can get text for all the links on this page. So this is one of the biggest challenge. In RC, you cannot achieve this test case. Now this is one out of 1,000 scenarios. Right? There could be other things as well where the methods are not available. And this is what happened in the industry. The library was very limited. And due to these reasons only, Selenium RC, it got deprecated in the market. So people have stopped using Selenium RC. That is the reason RC was not a big success. Selenium 1 was not a big success. But their concept was very unique. So all these things were actually recognized by one person whose name is Simon Stewart. Just discuss about Simon Stewart. Yeah, Simon Stewart. So he used to work as a lead developer at Google, right? In 2006, he started another project parallel to RC called as WebDriver. So in WebDriver, he overcome all challenges that were faced in Selenium RC. One of the major challenge was this JavaScript injection. So in architecture, he completely removed JavaScript injection. Now, if JavaScript injection is not there, there is no need to start this server. Directly write the code, run it, and it will automate the website. That is what we have seen over here. We have not started any server. Simply click on the run button, launch a browser, and navigate to the website, perform testing on it. There is no more JavaScript injection. So all the challenges that were faced due to JavaScript injection are now gone in case of WebDriver. Right? Not only this, there was only one class in case of RC, that was default Selenium. In case of WebDriver, for every browser, he has created a different class. If in case you want to work on Firefox, Firefox driver, Chrome driver, Internet Explorer driver, even to support Safari, Opera, all different classes are there. Not only this, if you look at this library, it's a huge collection of classes. Anything that you want to do in terms of automation, web-based automation, you'll find a class over here. But again, these classes are not dependent on the functionality. As in this get all links, this method, this functionality is not even there in WebDriver as well. But the functionality, the concept, they have designed in such a way that anything that is feasible in Java, you can achieve that thing using Selenium WebDriver, using WebDriver basically. That is what he has developed in WebDriver. And later on, they merged this WebDriver with Selenium. That is the reason we call it as Selenium WebDriver. Or they launched a version called as Selenium 2.0, which went up till 2.5, 3.1. So officially 2.0 was launched in July 2011. If you go to their website, in the documentation part, they have mentioned the same stuff. If you go to seleniumhq.org, go to documentation, brief history of this project, and you'll see that 2006 plucky engineer at Google named Simon Stewart started another project called as WebDriver. And Google had been long been a heavy user of Selenium, right? So that is what WebDriver is all about. Later on, we're going to talk about the architecture of WebDriver as well, how things are working in WebDriver if JavaScript is not there, how these classes are communicating. So all these things will be starting in depth once we start with the WebDriver part, right? So that is what your RC is, and that is what WebDriver is. And the last component that we will gonna discuss about is Selenium Grid. Now, Grid is one of the unique component. It actually automates a browser compatibility testing part. As in, like, let's say there's a scenario where we have 1,000 test cases written, and now, like, client wants us that the same test should run fine on IE, on Chrome, on Firefox, on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, right? So if we try to run it on different platforms, on different browsers, so one by one we'll be testing it on all the browsers, right? Or maybe if we are doing the manual testing for browser compatibility, then we need to allocate so many resources. One will test on IE, one will test on Chrome, one will test on Firefox, one will test on Windows, one will on like Mac, and different operating system will be assigned to all the resources, and they'll be executing same test cases on all these different operating system and different browsers. So Grid actually automates the entire part. As in case of Grid, there is something like a node, a hub and a node sort of architecture. As in, just give me a moment. If I talk about Grid is something like there is a hub and there are nodes. These hub and nodes are nothing; these are physical machines, but they are connected to each other. Each other, as in the hub, all these hubs are connected to nodes. Sorry, all these nodes are connected to hub. So this is basically your hub machine. It could be a window machine. This is your node 1. This is again a window machine. This is node 2. This is Mac OS. This is node 3. This is a Linux machine, right? On this machine, like we have all heard 1,000 test cases kept, where we have written all the Selenium code, automated all these 1,000 test cases. Now here we have IE as a browser, here we have Chrome as a browser, and here we have Firefox as a browser. So with the help of Grid, I'll execute my test from hub, and the test will run parallel on all these browsers and all these operating systems. I can even distribute the test. I can say 500 should run on this, 200 should run on this, and 300 should run on this. So I can distribute my test cases as well. And I can have multiple machines connected as a hub when I am executing, as a node when I'm executing the test parallelly on multiple machines and multiple browsers. So this is what is supported by Grid. We're going to do a detailed discussion about Grid, and we're going to see how parallel execution and how executing on remote devices also works. Right? So this is what the Grid is all about. So these are the 4 components: IDE, RC, WebDriver, and Grid, out of which IDE and RC is completely out of the market. If you see in over here as well, they have completely, they have clearly mentioned RC interface will be removed in Selenium 3. Please migrate to using WebDriver. Now companies are only and only working on WebDriver, right? And Grid is one of the component that many companies who do parallel testing, they actually use this Grid component as well, right? So we'll be discussing Grid and WebDriver in depth in this course, right? So like, let's conclude what all that we have discussed in our next lecture, right? In this lecture, we have discussed about all these components. In the next lecture, we're going to conclude what exactly the scope of Selenium is. All right.